Hello everyone. In the video we are going to look at the past year NEET questions from the chemistry chapter thermodynamics, and this is part 1 video. So totally we have 8 part videos where in each part we will be discussing about 10 to 15 questions. So thermodynamics is a important chapter, and normally physical chemistry itself is important one for us. But adiliyum thermodynamics kidathata we will be getting every year 2 questions like that. We'll start with the discussion. Paranga, first question. This is a question that has come in the NEET 2019 paper. And under isothermal conditions. Isothermal conditions and temperature constant. Okay. Under isothermal conditions, a gas at 300 Kelvin temperature kuduthirukanga. Okay. Expands from 0.1 liter and 0.25 liters. So initial volume and final volume is also given against a constant external pressure of 2 bar. Okay, the work done by the gas is, adukapram they are given one more information, and the conversion kuduthirukanga. What is it? 1 liter bar is equal to 100 joules. Idhula enna theriyuma, isothermal and sonna odane we'll remember one formula, and the W is equal to minus nRT ln V2 by V1. Illana in the decimal logarithm ippudu varum 2.303 nRT log V2 by V1. Volume illama if they are giving pressure terms means the V2 by V1 ku badala enna varum P1 by P2 varum. Okay, so this is what we will remember whenever we talk about the work in the isothermal process. But enna theriyuma, this is the work formula when we have reversible isothermal process. Correct dana? So this is the work expression when we have reversible isothermal process. But generally you want to express work anna adukku general formula enna, any process idu isothermal agatum or isobaric agatum, whatever the process, right? General process. Okay, work general expression anadi, it is what? Minus integral p external dv. Idhula irundha namakku and work value varum. This is the general expression for the work. Now the thing is, in some questions, right, they would say isothermal, but that is not reversible isothermal. Adhula nama careful ah irukanum. Okay, so look at this. They are saying it is isothermal, but it is not reversible isothermal. So we have to calculate work by using the general formula. நீங்கள் கேட்கலாம், எப்படி இந்த டிஃப்ரென்ஸ் நமக்கு தெரியும் கரெக்டாக ஒரு ப்ராப்ளமில்? ஏன்னா ஒரு சில ப்ராப்ளம்ஸ் என்ன பண்ணுவாங்க தெரியுமா, they would sometimes even they'll definitely mention that okay it is reversible isothermal, but sometimes they might not use the word reversible isothermal. But when you look at a question like this, பாருங்க, they did not give us the number of moles. அந்த கேஸோட நம்பர் ஆஃப் மோல்ஸ் கொடுக்கல. ஓகே, நம்பர் ஆஃப் மோல்ஸ் இல்லைன்னா இந்த ஃபார்முலா நம்ம யூஸ் பண்ண முடியாது. கரெக்ட் தானா? நவ் த அதர் ஹிண்ட், ஓகே, இஸ் தே ஆர் கிவிங் அ கான்ஸ்டன்ட் எக்ஸ்டர்னல் ப்ரெஷர். ஏன்னா இப்போ நம்ம இந்த ஒர்க் கால்குலேட் பண்ணுறதுக்கு எக்ஸ்டர்னல் ப்ரெஷரே தேவையில்லை இந்த ஃபார்முலா பேஸ் பண்ணி. தே ஆர் கிவிங் தட் இட் இஸ் அ கான்ஸ்டன்ட் எக்ஸ்டர்னல் ப்ரெஷர். இப்போ இந்த ஜென்ரல் ஒர்க் ஃபார்முலா யூஸ் பண்ணும்போது என்ன தெரியுமா, நம்ம இந்த இன்டிகிரேஷன் சால்வ் பண்ணணும். இன்டிகிரேஷன் சால்வ் பண்ணுறதுக்கு if the pressure is a constant, right, அப்போ தான் இந்த இன்டிகிரேஷன் ஈஸியாக வரும். ஸோ தட் இஸ் த ரீசன் வை தே கிவ் தி pressure to be a constant external pressure whenever usually they are giving question on the calculation of work based on the general formula, right? அது இதில் என்ன தெரியுமா, they will be giving the external pressure to be what? Constant. அதுக்கப்புறம் there is one more hint. See, all these are the hints they are giving to make sure that நீங்கள் தப்பு பண்ணாதீங்கன்னு சொல்லிட்டு they are giving lot of hints so that we will be picking up. Okay, இது ரிவர்சிபிள் கிடையாது, this is a general, அந்த ஜென்ரல் ஒர்க் எக்ஸ்பிரஷன்லேருந்து நம்ம ஒர்க் வேல்யூ ஃபைண்ட் அவுட் பண்ணணும். ஸோ என்னது, அந்த லீட்டர் பார் இஸ் ஈக்குவல் டு வாட்? 100 ஜூல்ஸ். ஸோ இந்த ஃபார்முலாவில் இந்த லீட்டர் பாரே நமக்கு வராது. they are giving 1 liter bar is equal to what? 100 joules. So we have to use the general thermodynamic process oda work expression. ஏன்னா this is not a reversible isothermal. இப்போ பாருங்க, look at this, W என்ன வருது? minus integral external pressure எவ்வளோ? 2 bar, right? 2 bar into dV. Integration limits என்னது? initial 0.1 liter, final level 0.25 liters. அதுதானா? ஸோ பாருங்க அந்த 2 அப்படியே வெளியே வரும். ஸோ minus 2 bar into integral dv 0.1 லிட்டர்லேருந்து 0.25 liters. ஓகேவா? ஸோ இது என்னது? minus 2 bar into integral dv என்னது? It is what? Volume. லிமிட்ஸ் நம்ம சப்ஸ்டியூட் பண்ணணும். ஃபைனல் வால்யூம் எவ்வளோ? 0.25 liters மைனஸ் இனிஷியல் வால்யூம் எவ்வளோ? 0.1 liter. ஓகேவா? 0.25 minus 0.1 எவ்வளோ? It is what? 0.15. பாருங்க minus 2 bar into 0.15 liter. இது என்னது? minus 0.3 bar into liter இல்லைன்னா liter into bar. ஓகே, ஸோ liter into bar is equal to what? 100 joule. ஸோ இந்த liter into bar பதில் நம்ம என்ன சப்ஸ்டியூட் பண்ணலாம்? 100 joule சப்ஸ்டியூட் பண்ணலாம். அப்படி என்ன வரும் பாருங்க. ஸோ வாட் இஸ் இட் கோயிங் டு பி? W will be finally coming as what? அப்படியே அந்த 100 மல்டிப்ளை பண்ணணும். ஸோ W will be coming as what? minus 30. ஏன்னா 0.3 into 100 எவ்வளோ? It is 30, right? ஆல்ரெடி மைனஸ் இருக்கு முன்னாடி. ஓகே, ஸோ வாட் இஸ் த ஒர்க் வேல்யூ? ஒர்க் இஸ் கம்மிங் as what? minus 30 joules. ஓகே, இதில் இன்னொன்று கேர்ஃபுல் aspect is there. என்ன தெரியுமா? whenever we are doing the work calculation, we have to always think about the sign convention part. Okay, so என்னது? look at what they are actually asking on in the question. The work done by the gas. Work done by the gas எவ்வளோன்னு கேட்டிருக்காங்க. Okay, so remember, as per our convention in thermodynamics, right, the W is coming negative means what? That much. இப்போ W minus 30 வருதுன்னு வச்சுக்கோங்க, means what? This much of energy is loss for the system. எப்படி அது லாஸ் ஆகும்? because this much amount of work is done by the system. ஓகேவா? so this much amount of work is done by the system. அதுக்கு தான் அந்த எனர்ஜி லாஸ் வருது. so whenever we look at the convention in thermodynamics, right, W negative means what? whatever that amount, that much amount of work is done by the system. அதுக்கு தான் அந்த energy is what? coming as loss. Negative means what? loss representation. okay, positive means what? it will be gain representation. so இப்போ W is coming as minus 30 joules means what? 30 joules of work is done by the gas. அவங்க என்ன கேட்டிருக்காங்க? they are asking what is the work done by the gas. so what is the answer for this? 30 joules. இதில் நான் எதுக்கு இந்த கேர்ஃபுல்லாக இருக்கிறேன்னு சொல்லி தெரியுமா? because if you look at the options, நீங்கள் எந்த பேப்பரை பார்க்கலாம். so you will be having ஒரு say for example ஒரு பர்டிகுலர் ப்ராப்ளம் நமக்கு ஒரு 250 வருதுன்னு வச்சுக்கோங்க. you will have a plus 250 இருக்கும், as well as there will be minus 250 also most of the cases. so we have to be careful in using the convention part. ஓகேவா? so what is the question is all about? the question is about knowing that this is a general, and the general thermodynamic process ஓட எக்ஸ்பிரஷன் எடுத்துட்டு we have to calculate the work. அதுக்கப்புறம் the sign convention part. நம்ம சைன் கன்வென்ஷன் தப்பு பண்ணாலும் you are going to lose the mark. ஏன் தெரியுமா? instead of putting a 30, you put a minus 30 as it is. what is going to happen? you will get a negative mark. okay, so this is about the question that has come in the NEET 2019. அடுத்த question பாருங்க. it's a strict theoretical question தான். this is also a question that has come in the 2019 paper. நான் சொன்ன மாதிரி you will get typically like what? 2 questions வரும். okay, in which case change in entropy is negative. okay, so என்ன கேட்டிருக்காங்க? they are asking here where the change in entropy is negative. change in entropy, when it will be negative? see, entropy represents what? entropy, what does it represent? entropy represents disorderness. அதுதானா? entropy represents what? disorderness or randomness and சொல்லலாம். okay, now if you talk about gases, they will have high disorderness means what? அதோட entropy value will be what? high. so if you have more number of gas particles, right, that means what? each particle will have more randomness, no? so the entropy also will be what? increasing. so remember, in case of gases, when the number of gas particles are more, the entropy will be more. so the entropy order is what? generally gases will have a higher entropy than liquids than solids. எதுக்கு? in solids what happens? all the particles will be having fixed positions. of course they can vibrate about their positions. liquidsல பார்த்தீங்கன்னா the particles can move, but move only in the அந்த liquid வோட வால்யூம் குள்ள. okay, gases will be what? They will be able to move in the entire volume of the container. Gas particles can move in the entire volume of the container. Okay, so the entropy of the gases will be more than the entropy of the liquids than entropy of the solids. Okay, so what is the question? We have to find in which case the change in entropy is negative. Means we have to find out where we are going from the higher entropy and the lower entropy. Appadana change negative. When change will be negative? When the change delta. Okay, so when change will be negative? Change is what? The final value minus initial value dana, which means final value should be less. Appada change will be what? Negative. Okay, option A and 2 atoms of hydrogen is becoming 1 molecule of hydrogen. So if 2 atoms, so we have, so generally you have like say for example 2 atoms is becoming what? 1 molecule. When entropy and we have to look at the particles count dana. Suppose in the zero we will count each atom as 1 particle, but product side we will count 1 molecule. The hydrogen atoms will not be existing independently. So hydrogen molecules exist. So you have like for every 2 particles initially, finally how many particles you are getting? 1 particle dana. You are getting only 1 particle. Means what? The number of gas particles is decreasing. Adana number of gas particles is what? Decreasing. So when the number of gas particles decreases, what is going to happen? Entropy will be decreasing, isn't it? The entropy value will depend upon what? The number of gas particles. More the number of gas particles, more is the entropy. Kamiyana, the entropy will be decreasing. So the answer is what? Options. Okay, so we'll get the answer straight away. What is the answer for this? Option A is the answer. But still, because we are doing the practice, right, we will go through all the other options also. And when you are practicing even questions, past year NEET papers or the NTA mock test papers or whatever it is, right, or question like if you are having, you will get the correct answer. Final exam means that is good. You will go to the next question. Okay, here you are not supposed to waste any more time. Option 1 you are not supposed to waste any more time, right? You will go to the next question. But practice you can still go to the other options and check, because there is always a possibility, but next year they might give a question framing on the other options. So paranga, option B evaporation of water. Evaporation enadhi liquid lende we are changing into gas. Other than evaporation, already nama sollirkom. What is it? Gas will have a more entropy than liquids. Means idhula entropy change, delta will become what? Positive. Okay. Option, so option C paranga, expansion of a gas at constant temperature. What is it? Expansion of a gas at constant temperature means what? Say for example you have a movable piston cylinder, you take a gas. Okay, the particles are within some particular volume. Okay, gas expand panna, look at this, it say the piston is moving out. Okay, so now what is going to happen? Now there is more volume available for the movement of particles. More volume available for the movement of particles means what? They can move more randomly, isn't it? So when the volume available is increasing, right, then also the entropy will be what? Increasing. Then the volume available, either in initial state they are moving in a very small volume. Final state they will be moving in a larger volume. So entropy will be what? Increasing. So option C the entropy will be increasing. What is it that we are looking for? We are looking for the entropy change to be negative. Okay, va? Other option in option D paranga, sublimation of a solid to gas. Sublimation and solid and straight if you are converting into gas. So already we have discussed about it. And the gases will have more entropy than the solids, which means what? In this, the entropy change delta is going to be again positive. It will not be negative. Okay, va? So the correct answer is what? Option A, where the entropy change is going to be what? Negative. Other question paranga. This is the question that has come in the Odisha paper NEET 2019. Okay, so they had some issues in conducting the regular NEET. That's why they had a separate exam. Okay, so then an ideal gas expands isothermally from 10 power minus 3 meter cube and 10 power minus 2 meter cube. So what they are giving? First, isothermally means what? Temperature constant. Okay, and initial volume கொடுத்திருக்காங்க, final volume also they gave. Initial volume எவ்வளோ 10 power minus 3 meter cube, final volume எவ்வளோ 10 power minus 2 meter cube, ஓகேவா? And what is that constant temperature value? 300 Kelvin against a constant pressure of 10 power 5 Newton per meter square. Means what? So the gas, okay, so gas is expanding against a constant pressure. Means what is this 10 power 5 Newton per meter square? What is this? This is the external pressure. So it is expanding against and sonna. What is it? This is basically the external pressure dana. Work done on the gas. They have given lot of clues for us to tell us that we have to use the general work expression. Like first problem we discuss panna madri, generally isothermal and sonna padane, what is the formula that will come to our mind? Minus 2.303 nRT log of V2 by V1. Okay, this is the name, but they have not given us the number of moles. So which means what? We will have to quickly think, is it the general work expression? They did not say. More than that, what is this formula for? This is formula for what? Reversible isothermal. So only when it is reversible isothermal, right, appo dhaan the formula use panna mudiyum. Illana we always have to go for what? The general work. What is general work formula? W is equal to minus P external dV. Okay, so idhula parunga, minus P external evla 10 power 5 Newton per meter square into dV. Volume limits என்னது 10 power minus 3 meter cube லந்து 10 power minus 2. ஓகேவா? So that 10 power 5 will come out, அப்படியே வெளியே வரும். என்ன constant, right? 10 power 5, everything is in the SI system, right? So volume is in meter cube and the pressure is in what? Newton per meter square, which means the work value we are going to get, it is going to come in which units? It is going to come in the units of joules dana. So I'll just erase this part so that we can solve it here also. So அடுத்த step என்ன? We just have to complete the integration. Simple dana. What is it? Integral dv. Integral dv and sonna, what is it? It will be what? Integral dv will be v only. Limit substitute பண்ணனும். 10 power minus 3 ல இருந்து 10 power minus 2. So பாருங்க, so then W is equal to minus 10 power 5, okay, into 10 power minus 2 minus 10 power minus 3. Final limit value minus initial limit value dana. So what is it? நம்ம உள்ள எடுத்துட்டு we'll just multiply both. So 10 power 5 we'll just take it inside. Inside எடுத்துட்டு போனா, what is the first thing? 10 power 5 into 10 power minus 2. அதனது 10 power 3. அடுத்தது என்ன? 10 power 5 into 10 power minus 3. That will be what? 10 power 2. So minus 10 power 3 என்னது 1000 தானா? 10 power 2 na 100. So எவ்வளவு வருது? Minus 900. What is the unit? Joule. Okay. So பாருங்க, W is coming as what? Minus 900 joule. Which means what? Already நம்ம discuss பண்ணிருக்கோம் first question லே. Okay, what is it? This represents this much amount of energy is loss for our system. Negative நம்ம express பண்ணா what it means? It means that that much amount of energy is actually loss dana. So which means 900 joules of work is done by the system. Appadana the energy will be loss. Okay, so what is it? 900 joules of work is done by the system. But question la avanga enna kekranga, what is it? The work done on the gas is. So if gas is doing 900 joules of work, right? If you are asking what is the work done on the gas, so எப்படி தெரியுமா? Like say for example, I am losing ஒரு 10 rupees வெச்சுக்கோங்க. I am losing some 10 rupees. நீங்க வந்துட்டு you are asking me what is your gain. அப்ப நான் என்ன சொல்லணும்? I should say my gain is what? Minus 10 தானா? So if I am losing 10 rupees, I am losing 10 rupees loss. Okay, you are not asking me what is the loss. Loss and keta, I will tell 10 rupees is my loss. That is 900 joules of work is done by the system. But நீங்க வந்துட்டு what you are asking what is your profit. Profit and keta நான் என்ன சொல்லணும்? I should say minus 10 rupees is my profit. அப்படிதானா? So here what they are asking, work done on the gas எவ்வளவுன்னு சொல்லிட்டு. So what I have to say? I have to say work done on the gas is what? Minus 900 joule. Okay, idhila there is no scope for making a mistake. Theriyuma, even if you are not comfortable with this in the sign convention idhila, if you are little bit not very sure, then also you will be able to tick the right answer for this. edukku theriyuma, we got the value, the 900 joule nu solittu oru option la irukka. mathadhila enna, you have kilojoules, kilojoule kadiyade. What is the value? Unit anadi joule dana. So you will be able to tick the correct answer even if you are not very sure about the and the convention or the language. Okay, but ipdi nama paakano. What is it? When you say that okay, 900 joules of work is done by the system and anadi, that much amount of energy is lost for the system. They are asking what is the work done on the gas and sonna. What you have to express, you have to say it is what, minus 900 joule. Okay, clear? So in some textbooks, right, generally in the thermodynamics definition layer they will write it like this: whenever we calculate work and the formula, and whenever we calculate work from the formula, right, they will say this is work done on the gas and solid. Correct dana? They will always use this convention. Notice the textbooks. So whatever the work is coming as minus 900, this is always the work done on the gas. Idhila plus 1 da, in some other question W is coming as plus 300 hkonga. Then what it represents? Work done on the gas. In some other question W is coming as minus 1600, means work done on the gas evala minus 1600 appadi. Okay, that is the kind of convention that some textbooks will mention. Okay, so this is how we have to. Next paranga, we have another question in Odisha paper NEET 2019. idhila a reversible expansion of an ideal gas under isothermal and adiabatic conditions are shown in the figure. Okay, so idhila we are starting from point A and both are what, expansion. AB curve represents what? It represents the isothermal. So generally the adiabatic curve will be what? More steeper. Adiabatic curve will be what? More steeper. Means adiabatic curve lo the pressure will be falling down faster. We have to choose which of the following options is not correct, and then we have to find out which of them is incorrect one. Okay, so first option A is what? Delta S isothermal is more than delta S adiabatic. Delta S anadi, this is what? The entropy change. They are asking about the entropy change. Now how do you calculate the entropy change? How do you calculate the entropy change? Entropy change for any process we can calculate as what? The heat exchange in the reversible part of the process divided by the temperature. Entropy change formula enna, it is what? Heat exchange in the reversible process divided by the corresponding temperature. Adiabatic means what? The system and surrounding, they are separated by adiabatic wall. So adula heat exchange varadu. So del Q will be equal to what? 0. Heat exchange will not be there between the system and the surrounding, which means delta S for the adiabatic, it will be what? Delta S for the adiabatic will be 0. And the del Q reversible value is what? 0. Okay, now we will find out what is the entropy change for the isothermal part. Okay, so we will look at the reversible isothermal. We will look at the reversible isothermal. For the reversible isothermal, if you have the formula, the formula for the work for the reversible isothermal, what is the work formula? Minus 2.303 nRT log V2 by V1 is our work formula. Okay, so in isothermal process, del U is equal to del Q plus W is our first law of thermodynamics. Isothermal means del U 0. So upon our del Q will be minus W, means del Q oda value anna, it is what? Minus of minus 2.303 nRT log V2 by V1. So the minus minus cancel idom. So what is it? 2.303 nRT log V2 by V1. Okay, so namakanna venu, we are looking for the delta S in a isothermal. Okay, so delta S anadi, this is del Q reversible, and the reversible process la or a heat exchange, which is 2.303 nRT log V2 by V1 divided by the temperature. TT cancel item. Okay, so what is the del S value? 2.303. So del S value in the isothermal level, it is what? 2.303. Okay, nRT varadu log V2 by V1. So இப்போ பாருங்க, volume is increasing, right? Expansion and the volume is increasing means overall this term will be what? அது positive வரும். Overall the delta S value will be what? Positive. Okay, இதில் என்னன்னா we are deriving the expression, but already if you are able to remember this expression means straight நம்ம conclude பண்ணலாம். So what is the thing? We see that delta S for this isothermal is coming as positive and adiabatic level 0, which means delta S for the isothermal is more than delta S for the adiabatic. So this is a correct one. And what is it that we are looking for? We are looking for the wrong answer. We are looking for which of them is incorrect. Okay, so அடுத்தது என்ன பாருங்க, temperature of A is equal to temperature of B. So AB is what? Isothermal process. Isothermal process சொன்னா temperature will be constant only, no? Isothermal means what? Temperature is constant. Temperature constant in the, what it means? Temperature at the point A will be equal to temperature at point B, which means TA oda value will be equal to TB. Okay, so that is also correct. So option B is also what? Correct. So we are looking for the wrong answer, which is the one that is incorrect. Okay, option C enna paranga, work in isothermal is more than work in adiabatic. Idhukku enna theriyuma, generally eppadi, how do you represent the work in terms of the graphical manner? If you take a PV diagram, pressure volume diagram edutha, the நம்ம represent பண்ணோம். Okay, so this is what? Isothermal, and idanadi the curve that is steeper is adiabatic dana. So inga parunga, work in the PV diagram, right? Eppadi calculate பண்றது? It will be given by what? The area between the pressure volume curve and the x-axis. inga parunga, so area below the isothermal curve enadhu? So we will have to look at it like this. This is a total area. So this represents what? The work in the isothermal. Work in adiabatic am sonna what it is? enga irukku adiabatic curve? This is adiabatic curve, right? So parunga, so we will just do like this. This is the work in the adiabatic. So Partha, what is the conclusion? The work in isothermal is more than work in the adiabatic. The adiabatic curve will be what? More steeper. It will come down fastly. So adu keela irukra area, right, will be definitely lesser than the isothermal part. So this is also correct. Now we got 3 answers checked. Appa straight enna pannalam, we can conclude the answer as what? Option D must be the one which is not correct. Okay, so if you are writing in this examination enna, what you will be doing? So you will be, if you are confident about these 3 options, right, the 3 options analysis, if you are confident means what you will do? You can tick the 4th one as the answer for this particular question. But nama check panla, what is the 4th one? Temperature of C is more than temperature of A. See parunga, AC enadhi? This is what? Adiabatic process. AC is what? Adiabatic process. Okay, so adiabatic process enna theriyuma, these are the, this is the volume is increasing. Volume is what? Increasing. So A and when you are going to see, volume is increasing, correct only, no? So this is the temperature of A, inga irukka temperature, this is the temperature at C. Do we have a relation irukka illaya? The relation between the temperature and volume enadhi? If you have T V power gamma minus 1 is equal to constant, enadhi? T V power gamma minus 1 is equal to constant. So temperature of A into volume of A, gamma, take it as say 5/3 edukala. Okay, so gamma 5/3 is for what? It is for the monoatomic gas. We can take it as 7/5 also diatomic. Okay, but we'll take it generally as what? 5/3. 5/3 edutha enadhi? 5/3 minus 1, which is what? 2/3 will be equal to temperature of C into volume at C power 2/3. Idhil enna theriyuma? The product of temperature into volume to the power 2/3. Okay, that is constant, which means what? if the volume is increasing, அதுக்கான corresponding temperature will be what? Decreasing. Correct only. If the volume is increasing, the corresponding temperature will be what? Decreasing. ஏன்னா the product of these two terms is constant. Okay, of course இதில் ஒரு power இருக்கா, but generally what is it? The product of the two terms is what? Constant. So இப்போ என்ன பாருங்க, volume at C is more, right? So volume at C is more means the corresponding temperature will be what? Lesser. So TC oda value will be less than TA. Normal itself, right? Enagum, when you have adiabatic expansion, means what? That particular system is doing work. How it will do the work? Enna heat exchange kadiyadu. How it will do the work? By losing the internal energy dana. Losing the internal energy enadhi, temperature will be decreasing. That is why what is the word that we say? Adiabatic expansion. Whenever adiabatic expansion is happening, right? Adukku enna solluvom theriyuma? We'll say it is what? Adiabatic cooling and solluvom. So whenever it is expanding in adiabatic manner, what is going to happen? And the system on temperature will be what? Decreasing. Okay, so which means TC will be less than TA. But option enna kuduthirukanga, they are saying TC is more than TA. So that is the incorrect one. TC is actually what? Less than TA. Why? Because adiabatic expansion means what? It is going to be cooling, temperature is going to be decreasing. Okay, so the correct answer for this is what? Option D, because option D is the incorrect one. Mathadella they are all correct statements. Next paranga, we have a question from 2018 paper. This is a question based on the enthalpy change formula related to the bond energy values. This is a question based on the enthalpy change formula based on the bond energy. If you have enthalpy change of any chemical reaction, right? எப்படி அது bond energy நம்ம relate பண்றது? It will be equal to what? Bond energy of the reactants minus bond energy of the products. அதுதான் relation. So how do you relate the enthalpy change of a chemical reaction to the bond energies? It will be what? Products கிடையாது. It will be what? Bond energy of the reactants minus bond energy of product வரும். Okay, இந்த ஃபார்முலா நம்ம ஞாபகம் வச்சுக்கணும். So the question can be answered straight based on that. என்ன பாருங்க, the bond dissociation energies of x2, y2 and xy எவ்வளவு? 1, 0.5 and 1. They are in the ratio. Values கொடுக்கல. They are asking what? The ratio they are giving. What is it? The bond dissociation energies of x2, y2 and xy எவ்வளவு? 1 is to 0.5 is to 1. Okay, delta H for the formation of xy. See, formation of xy and சொன்னது in thermodynamics language, right? What do you mean by formation reaction? Formation reaction means what? Forming 1 mole of the substance from the basic constituent ன்னு சொல்லுவோம். Okay, so 1 mole xy நமக்கு வேணும்னா what we will be having? Half a moles of x2 and half a mole of y2. இதுதான் அந்த reaction. இந்த reaction ஓட delta H எவ்வளவு? What is the delta H value given to this? It is what? Minus 200 kilojoule per mole. Okay, always the formation reaction will be for 1 mole, forming 1 mole of the substance. Okay va? இதுல இருந்து என்ன calculate பண்ணணும்? The bond dissociation energy of x2. Another, we have to calculate what is the bond dissociation energy of x2. So if we what is the thing that is there? We have a formula. The enthalpy change for any chemical reaction is equal to what? Bond energy of the reactant minus bond energy of the product. And the reaction irukku namakku. What is the reaction? Formation reaction of xy is what? Half a mole of x2 plus half a mole of y2 is equal to giving rise to xy. What is the enthalpy change for that? Minus 200 kilojoule per mole. The information used panni we have to calculate what is the bond dissociation energy of x2. எப்படி approach பண்றது? First we will say, since they have given us the ratio, right? என்னது ratio கொடுத்திருக்காங்க. So the ratio is what? 1 is to 0.5 is to 1. So whenever you have இந்த மாதிரி any question, right, you have a ratio given means we can take the values by using a common factor. எப்படி? Like, you know, you say take the ratios multiplied by the common factor. So we can take it as what? X, அதுக்கப்புறம் 0.5 into x, அதுக்கப்புறம் திருப்பி x. So we are taking, you know, the ratio converting into what? The values by using a common factor. Okay, so let the bond energies of x2, y2 and xy. What is it? X, 0.5x and x. எப்படி வருது? They have given us the ratio. We are multiplying the ratio with the common factor x. Okay, so here x is a variable, common factor variable. Okay va? So whenever we have, say for example, somebody is saying there are two quantities in the ratio 2:3 னு வெச்சுக்கோங்க, then what we can say, the quantities are 2x and 3x அப்படி. So we can always convert the ratio into the values by using what, or common factor வெச்சு. Okay, now look at it. What is the formation reaction என்னது? half a mole of x2 plus half a mole of y2 gives rise to xy. அதுதானா? அதோட delta H எவ்வளோ? -200 kilojoule per mole. But what is the delta H formula? It is the bond energy of the reactant minus bond energy of the product. The bond energy of the reactant minus bond energy of the product தானா? So பாருங்க, what we have to do here, we will simply have to equate. So what is the enthalpy change given as? It is what, -200 is equal to reactants. Reactants means, check it, no, reactants we have half a mole of x2. x2 oda bond dissociation energy is what, x. Half a mole of x2 means நம்ம அந்த half multiply பண்ணணும். It will be what, half into x plus half a mole of y2 irukka. So half into what is the bond dissociation of y2 எவ்வளவு? 0.5 into x தானா? So half into 0.5 into x வரும். இது என்னது? This is what is the bond energy of the reactants, total bond energy of the reactants. Molar bond energy and the corresponding number of moles நம்ம multiply பண்ணணும். ஓகேவா? Products என்னது? Product is xy only, no, 1 mole is there, means we have to subtract the product. So what is it? -1 into x, because the product is in 1 mole quantity. So inga parunga, what we are going to get, -200 adha LHS is equal to what, idanadi half x plus idla 0.5 means what, half. So half plus idanadi total 1/4, totally evaladi, it will be what, 3/4x minus x. So parunga, 3/4x minus x means what, -1/4x is equal to -200. Minus cancel ஆயிடும். In the 4 left side எடுத்துட்டு வந்தா it will be what, numerator போய்டும். So it will be what, 200 into 4 is equal to x. So பாருங்க, what is it, 800. x ஓட value என்ன, 800. Okay, and what will be the unit? The LHS ல நம்ம எடுத்த unit என்ன, it is what, kilojoule per mole, right? What is the unit? Kilojoule per mole தானா? So x value எவ்வளோ, 800 kilojoule per mole. But what they are asking us, bond dissociation energy of x2. அதானே, we are already taking the values in terms of the common factor, right? Paranga, bond dissociation energy of x2 evala, it will be what, x. So the bond dissociation energy of x2 will be equal to what, x dana, which is 800 kilojoule per mole. Okay, so what is the answer for this one? Option C will be the answer. So idhula enna iruka, first the bond energy and enthalpy oda relation. Okay, adukaprom just using a common factor ratio நம்ம அந்த வேரியபிளா கன்வெர்ட் பண்ணி we are just going ahead and using that equation and the enthalpy change relation to bond energy equation, right? And the equation வந்து we are getting the value of the variable and finally we are getting the answer. What is the answer for this one? 800 kilojoule per mole. Okay va? So அடுத்த question பாருங்க. This is the question that has come in the 2017 paper. For a given reaction, delta H is equal to 35.5 kilojoule per mole. Delta S is equal to what, 83.6 joule per Kelvin per mole. இதில் நம்ம கேர்ஃபுல்லாக இருக்கணுமா? இதுக்கு பாருங்க, delta H எவ்வளோ, kilojoule. Delta S, it is in joule unit. Okay, the reaction is spontaneous at, then we have to find out where the reaction is spontaneous. அதில் condition கொடுத்துருக்காங்க. What is it? Assume that the delta H oda value and delta S value do not vary with temperature. Means what? Normally என்னது, the delta H value will change with temperature, delta S also will change with temperature, right? But what they are saying is, assume both of them are constant. Okay, so what is the question here? When the reaction is spontaneous, எப்போ the reaction will be spontaneous? Del G is equal to what, delta H minus T delta S dana. For the reaction to be spontaneous, and the del G oda value must be what, less than 0. The corresponding del G value must be what, less than 0. Okay, adukana whatever is the related temperature, right, that is what you have to comment. So options la paatha, what they are saying, temperature is more than 425, or all the temperature is spontaneous, or temperature more than 298. Option D is what, temperature less than 425. We have to choose what is the correct one. Paranga, so del G should be negative. Del G should be negative means what, and the delta H minus T delta S oda value must be negative. Okay, so the rearrange பண்ண என்ன வரும்? So if you look at it, right, இது நம்ம அந்த பக்கம் எடுத்துட்டு போலாம். We will take it to the RHS. So So delta H must be less than T delta S. Right side it will become what? Plus side. Minus will become plus. Okay. So we will bring the delta S to the LHS. It will come to the denominator. Paranga, delta H by delta S should be less than T. We can also write it as what? T should be more than delta H by delta S. So when temperature is more than delta H by delta S, on the particular range of temperature, we will have what? The overall del G, Gibbs free energy change will be what? Negative, which means the reaction is going to be what? Spontaneous. Okay, wow. So what you are going to do now here, just substitute the values. Substitute pannabodu we have to be careful. Delta H paranga, this is given as what? Kilojoule per mole. Adu nama convert pannanum. We should convert it as what? Joule. Delta S is in the units of joule. Okay. So 35.5 kilojoule per mole means what? 35.5 into 1000 joule per mole varum. Kilojoule, how do you convert it to joule? Multiply by 1000 dana. Divide by delta S value 83.6 joule per Kelvin per mole. Idhula mole cancel and joule cancel and the Kelvin mele pona it will be in the numerator. Okay. So this is what? 35.5 into 1000 divided by 83.6. So approximately what is the value going to come as? It will be approximately coming as what? 425. See, we don't not have to do the calculation up to the last decimal places and the madri panna thevilla. Just a rough value you are able to get it right, that will be sufficient. Why? Because you will not have the options very much close by. One answer is what? T more than 298, other is what? T more than 425. Option D another T less than 425. So you don't see that options are very close. 298 is one temperature, other temperature given is what? 425. So we know approximately if you are able to get the answer, that is sufficient. Normally in the board exams solve panna madri, you don't need to get the answer up to the last decimal places. Okay, wow. So what is the answer for this? The temperature value must be more than 425. Then the reaction is going to be what? Spontaneous. What is the condition for the reaction to be spontaneous? And the reaction of the del G must be what? Negative. Okay, wow. So the correct answer is what? Option A is the right answer. Another question, Paula. This is another question in the 2017 paper. Okay. A gas is allowed to expand in a well-insulated container. Well-insulated container sonnanadi, there is no heat exchange. Insulation anandi no heat exchange dana, which means what? And del Q value will be equal to what? 0. It is like what? Adiabatic. No heat exchange. Okay. So a gas is allowed to expand in a well-insulated container against a constant external pressure of 2.5 atms from the initial volume of 2.5 liter to a final volume of what? 4.5 liters. Adilandi we have to find what is the change in the internal energy delta U of that particular gas. So we are looking for the delta U value. But from the given information, right, we have gas in a well insulated cylinder, means there is no heat exchange. So del Q value is what? 0. Heat exchange value is 0. Okay. But what we know, they are giving us the expansion is against a constant external pressure of 2.5 atm, and the volume of the gas is increasing from where to where? 2.5 liter and 4.5. So here first thing we can calculate what is the work by using the general formula for the work, because they are giving us what is the external pressure, right? So then the 2.5 atm, and we can take that out, integration mudichittu we will be able to find what is the work. Okay, since del Q is 0 because they are saying insulated, we can use the first law, because first law relates what? First law of thermodynamics relates the change in internal energy, the work and the heat exchange. Okay, paranga, what is it? We will first calculate what is the work. So work anadi in the P external value vanda, what is it? Minus P external. Integral dV means what? V. Limits is what? Final minus initial. So which is minus P external into delta V. So this is the general work value. Okay, so anadi minus P external delta V. Paranga minus 2.5 into delta V 4.5 final volume minus 2.5. So look at this. This is the difference is what? 2. So minus 2.5 into 2 minus 5 varum, but this is in what, liter atmospheres. And pressure is in atmospheres and volume is in what, liter. And we have to convert the answers in terms of joule. Eppadi convert pandrathu? What is the conversion? 1 liter into atmosphere is approximately equal to what, 101.325 joules. Okay, sometimes we will also write it as what, verum 101 by rounding of the decimal places, but to give it to up to 3 decimal places, what is the conversion factor? 1 liter atmosphere is equal to what, 101.325 joules. We have to remember these conversion factors. அப்போதான் இந்த மாதிரி questions நம்ம டக்கா solve பண்ண முடியும். Okay, so what is it? We'll just have to convert the work in the units of joule. So paranga, we have to multiply with what, 101.325. multiply panna enna varum? We are going to get minus 506.625. okay, if you just take the 101.325 badala you take it as what, 101 edutha, then what is it going to be? It will be simply minus 505. okay, that is why we keep saying enna theriyuma, you can look at the approximations. It is not like you have to go with always that 101.325 joule and solite. We can also take it as what, approximately 101. okay, if you take it approximately 101, what will be the W value? Minus 505 because what is 5 into 101? It is 505. okay va? So paranga, del U is equal to what, Q plus W dana. del U is equal to what, Q plus W. But insulated container means what, Q0. already நம்ம discuss பண்ணிருக்கோம். insulated container means what, Q will be 0. Q0 means what, is 0 ஆயிடும். so del U is equal to W, அவ்வளவுதான். so what is W? minus 506.625 joules if you are using that conversion, exact conversion factor. illa we are using approximate value means it will be what, minus 505 joules. okay, if you are using the exact conversion factor means minus 506.625 joules varum. okay, but you cannot be sitting with that answer, and now we should be looking at whether sometimes they will be using the approximate value. so it will be what, minus 505 joules. so what is the answer for this? Option B is the answer. okay va? We'll go to the question that has come in the NEET paper 2 in 2016. 2016 we have 2 papers, right? For a sample of a perfect gas, when its pressure is changed from P initial and P final isothermally, the entropy change is given by. so it's a straight formula question. What is it? We have to find what is the entropy change. so for a reversible isothermal process, for a reversible isothermal process, right? okay, adukku del Q evla, because for the isothermal process del U is what, 0. internal change will be 0, right? so del Q will be minus W, means 2.303 enadi nRT log of V final by V initial. in terms of pressure means what, it will be 2.303 nRT log of P initial by P final varum. okay, this is in terms of the decimal logarithm, but options la paranga they are giving natural logarithm. so you have to give the value natural logarithm means what, del Q will be equal to the 2.303 into log will be becoming ln, which is the natural logarithm. paranga it is what, nRT ln of P initial by P final is the del Q value. so del S formula is what is the delta S formula? del Q in the reversible process by the temperature. so அப்படியே நம்ம இந்த temperature வச்சு divide பண்ணனும், TT cancel ஆயிடும். so what is the answer? nR ln, what is it, nR ln P initial by P final. எங்க இருக்கு பாருங்க. so what is it? delta S is equal to what, nR ln P initial by P final. what is the answer? it is what, option B. okay va? so this is next paranga, we have a question that has come in paper 1 of 2016. this is again question based on the spontaneity condition. The correct thermodynamic conditions for the spontaneous reaction at all temperatures means what, ella temperature idiliyum you should have the condition is what, spontaneous. how the temperature will play a role? so paranga, we want to have spontaneous reaction means del G oda value, del G is what, delta H minus T delta S. this should be negative. okay, ஸோ இப்போ நீங்கள் del g ஓட எக்ஸ்பிரஷன் பார்த்தா it has two terms என்னது ஒரு term என்ன delta h இன்னொரு term என்னது minus d delta s ஸோ மைனஸ் நம்ம சேர்த்து எடுக்கலாம் ஓகே now we will have to analyze each of these options one by one ஸோ ஆப்ஷன் ஏ என்ன பாருங்க del h negative ஓகேவா means what first term என்னது negative ஓகேவா del s positive இப்போ delta s பாசிட்டிவாக இருந்துன்னு வச்சுக்கோங்க then you multiply the positive with a negative ஏன்னா temperature is always positive right temperature நம்ம எந்த scale எடுக்க போகிறது we are going to take the temperature in Kelvin scale means what always it will be what positive which means what the overall second term சொன்னா என்னது minus d delta s if delta s positive means what minus d delta s overall will be negative so first term is negative second term is negative means when you add both of them it will be what it will be always negative so the first condition option A right where enthalpy change is what the enthalpy change is negative means enthalpy of that particular reaction or the process is what decreasing and entropy change what is the entropy change is what positive so this conditions right you know what they are the favorable conditions for any process to happen edukku theriyuma always universal you will have any system trying to go from high enthalpy into lower enthalpy so the enthalpy change negative right is favorable and madri entropy pathina anything in the universe would want to increase the entropy increase the randomness so everything wants to go from lower entropy and higher entropy means entropy change positive is favorable enthalpy change negative is favorable entropy change positive is favorable means the condition A option A is favorable in both ways okay is favorable in both ways temperature dependency எப்போ வரும் தெரியுமா when one of the particular steps is favorable and the other is not favorable அப்போ we will have the temperature dependency okay so இப்போ என்னது we got our answer option A is what the condition where we have both of them favorable so whatever is the temperature right the reaction is going to be what spontaneous okay va but in the question enna theriyuma like it happens in some years we have one more option that will be suiting okay option C paranga what is option C del h option C நம்ம பார்க்கலாம் del h is what negative means first term என்ன del h தானா first term is what negative okay delta s 0 ன்னு சொன்னா second term பாருங்க what is second term minus t delta s right so minus t delta s will become 0 second term is what 0 so overall if you see what is the overall value negative தானா அது temperature dependency வராது ஏன்னா and the second term is the term where you have the temperature dependency right that full term is becoming what 0 so அப்ப என்னது we'll have only the first term which is delta h already delta h is given as what negative appo always whatever is the temperature right the particular process is going to be what spontaneous da okay so we can also mark option C the madri situation varumbodhu enna theriyuma you will be given 4 marks if you are marking either option A or option C sometimes you know they might even decide to give bonus mark for the students who are leaving also okay appadi agala but we look at the other answers no option B enadhu parunga del h negative ன்னு சொன்னது first term is negative இப்படி தான் நம்ம அனலைஸ் பண்ணணும் okay delta s negative ன்னு சொன்னா என்ன பாருங்க so if delta s is negative right நான் erase பண்றேன் முன்னாடி analysis okay so delta s is negative means what second term என்னது second term is what minus t delta s so idhula minus vanda minus into minus become what overall second term will become what overall second term will become positive ipo enna theriyuma whether del g is going to be what and the first term plus second term dana whether del g is going to be positive or negative will depend upon what temperature ஏன்னா second term value is depending upon temperature right second term is positive first term is negative overall second term nam paakuradhu second term overall is what positive first term is negative So del G, whether it will be positive or negative, is decided by the temperature. Means always the process cannot be spontaneous. Epo spontaneous agum theriyuma when the overall del G is negative, means and the first term of the value is dominating. Enna first term negative dana, so when the first term is dominating, appo the del G will be negative. Second term is dominating anna, the del G will become what? Positive. Okay, so option B kadiyadu. Enna here we are going to have the temperature dependency. அந்த மாதிரி ஆப்ஷன் டி பாருங்க. ஆப்ஷன் டி என்னது? del H positive. see நம்ம ப்ராக்டிஸ் பண்ணும்போது லைக் நான் சொன்ன மாதிரி we will have to analyze everything. தெரியுமா? it is not like you are solving ஒரு question சால்வ் பண்ண மாதிரி கிடையாது. it is like we are solving multiple questions in one while practicing. okay, so பாருங்க ஆப்ஷன் டி என்னது? del H positive means what? the first term is what? positive. okay va? delta S negative. see paranga delta S nama negative ah edutha minus into minus overall it will be what? positive. so second term is also positive. enna theriyuma? for this whatever is the temperature value, del G will be always what? positive. so these are two unfavorable. edukku delta H is positive means what? enthalpy change is positive, means enthalpy is increasing. this is what? unfavorable, right? ஏன்னா யூனிவர்ஸில் இருக்கிற எல்லா systems, right, what they will try to do? they will try to achieve low enthalpy, means they will try to move from higher enthalpy to lower enthalpy. but here enthalpy is positive, enthalpy change positive means what? unfavorable. okay, அதுக்கப்புறம் entropy change பாருங்க, entropy change is negative. this is also unfavorable, right? ஏன்னா everything in the universe wants to go from low entropy to high entropy. the favorable is what? entropy change positive is favorable. both the steps, this particular process enthalpy wise unfavorable, entropy is also unfavorable. so you know what? and the option D situation, right, is what? the condition for the process to be non-spontaneous always. ella temperature the process is going to be what? non-spontaneous. okay va? so what are the suitable answer that we can choose for this? option A as well as option C. okay, we have another question coming in 2016 paper 1. it's a straight question based on equation which we will use to relate the pressure and temperature values in a phase change. what is the name of this equation? Clausius-Clapeyron equation. so enna paranga, consider the following liquid to vapor equilibrium. so liquid to vapor equilibrium, right? which of the following relations is correct? it's a straight theoretical question. so what is this? it's what? Clausius-Clapeyron equation. what is it? it is an equation that is relating the pressure and temperature conditions of equilibrium between the two phases. normally enna theriyuma? this is what is the equation we use. ln P1 by P2. P1 is one particular pressure, adukana corresponding temperature in T1. P2 is another pressure and then corresponding temperature is what? T2. okay, so normally what is the Clausius-Clapeyron equation? we see ln of P1 by P2 is equal to delta H vaporization, because we are talking about the liquid to vapor phase change. okay, delta H vaporization by R into 1 by T2 minus 1 by T1. This is normally when we look at the Clausius-Clapeyron equation. இது எதிலிருந்து வருது தெரியுமா? this is going to come from this relation ln P. ln P is equal to what? minus delta H evaporation by RT plus C. C என்னது? it's a constant. C is what? constant. so இதிலிருந்து எப்படி வரும் தெரியுமா? we take ln P1 minus ln P2. so same in the equation la we will put two conditions. pressure P1 அதுக்கான corresponding temperature T1, அப்புறம் pressure P2 அதுக்கான corresponding temperature T2. so ln P1 minus ln P2 will be equal to what? minus delta H vaporization by RT1 plus C minus of minus delta H vaporization by RT2 plus C. so the minus into minus becomes what? plus. so இப்போ என்ன வரும் பாருங்க, delta H vaporization by R into 1 by T2 minus 1 by T1 ஆயிடும். so the C cancel ஆயிடும். okay, so that is what is the expression that we normally use. நம்ம normally use பண்ண expression என்ன? Clausius-Clapeyron equation ln P1 by P2 is equal to what? delta H evaporation by R into 1 by T2 minus 1 by V1. அது எதிலிருந்து வருது? It is going to come from this base expression. Base expression என்ன? ln P is equal to what? Minus delta H evaporation by RT plus C. But this is this is what we call as the integrated expression னு சொல்லுவோம். என்ன தெரியுமா? This is what we call as the integrated expression. இதுக்கு முன்னாடி we have one more form that is called as the differential form னு சொல்லுவோம். So this is a theoretical question. இதெல்லாம் நம்ம we have to look at these things. The differential form of the Clausius-Clapeyron equation இருக்கா. So what is it? It will be if you have பாருங்க. So derivative of ln P, derivative of ln P with respect to temperature is equal to delta H evaporation by RT square. What is it? Derivative of ln P with respect to temperature is equal to what? Delta H evaporation by RT square. This is what is the differential form of the Clausius-Clapeyron equation. Okay. So idhula enna theriyuma? How we will get the integrated form? Na kaamikira. So how we will get the integrated form? We will just take this temperature dt to the other side. Appo enna varum? Derivative of ln P is equal to delta H evaporation by RT square into dt. Okay va? நம்ம ரெண்டு பக்கம் we should integrate it. So derivative of ln P என்னது? So integrate பண்ண என்ன வரும்? இந்த பக்கம் ln P வரும். Right hand side என்ன இருக்கு பாருங்க? delta H evaporation by R and constant. Okay. Integration t power minus 2 dt. இது என்னது? So delta H evaporation by R. What is the formula of integral x power n dx? Another it is what? X power n plus 1 by n plus 1 dana. So t power minus 2 plus 1 by minus 2 plus 1, which is what? T power minus 1 by minus 1, which is 1 by t, minus 1 by t. What is it? Minus 1 by t varum. So what is it? Minus 1 by t. But integration it is what we call as the indefinite integration. So adla irundha our final expression will have a constant. Okay. So paranga enadhi? Ln P is equal to what? Minus delta H evaporation by RT plus C. அப்படிதா இந்த integrated form வரும். ஓகேவா? So what is it? This is a theoretical question. We should know these expressions. Actually என்ன தெரியுமா? First, what is the answer for this? It is option B. First, we will have the differential equation. அதுல இருந்து integrate பண்ணா we will get this form. In the particular formula, if you are using two values of pressure, அதுக்கான corresponding temperature, right? That is what is the normal class. Normally in the books lo pathina we will have this expression. What is the expression we will have? Ln P1 by P2 is equal to what? Delta H evaporation by R into 1 by T2 minus 1 by T1. Normally textbooks lo pathina we will have this expression. Adu eppadi varudhu? We will get it from what we call as the integrated Clausius equation solita. அதுக்கு முன்னாடி ஸ்டெப் என்ன? we will start from the differentiation. So differential equation ல இருந்து ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணி you will get the integrated. Like normally even நம்ம chemical kinetics ல பாத்தீங்கன்னா what you will say? Chemical kinetics we will start from the அந்த differential equation ல இருந்து we will integrate it, right? அதுக்கு தான் என்ன சொல்லுவோம்? integrated rate expressions னு சொல்லுவோம். integrated rate expression like that we will say, right? அந்த மாதிரி தான் இதுல என்ன தெரியுமா? we will be having first the differential equation இருக்கும். அதுல இருந்து integrate பண்ணி we will get the integrated form. Okay. And normally பாத்தீங்கன்னா we will be using this particular equation to solve problems. So practice பண்ணும்போது we should have whenever மாதிரி theoretical equations இருக்கு தெரியுமா? ஒரு சில important equations we should be looking at, especially in thermodynamics, அந்த மாதிரி equilibrium, இந்த மாதிரி chemical kinetics, இந்த மாதிரி chaptersல whatever the equations we have, right? Look at whether there is an alternative form of the equation. அதுக்கான ஏதாவது alternative form இருக்கான்னு சொல்லிட்டு we should check it. So that if you have a question like this, right, terinja it's like what? We don't need to spend so much time, right? But நம்ம அந்த differential form terinja, we will just go and tick option B, avladha. It is like what? Straight. Or straight away, it's not even like a numerical question மாதிரி கிடையாது. It's like a straight theoretical question. If you are not knowing means, it will take some time to derive. So if you are in the base expression, if you want to work backwards and derive, it is going to take some time. So we are having how much time to answer a question? Roughly 1 minute dana. 1 minute kulla idella derive panna mudiyuma? Panna mudiyadu. So the better thing is for the standard equations in thermodynamics agatum or equilibrium or chemical kinetics, whenever there is an equation, right, check அதுக்கு ஏதாவது alternative form of equations இருக்கான்னு சொல்லிட்டு. ஓகேவா? So the answer for this is what? Option B, that is the differential form of the Clausius-Clapeyron equation. Okay, so this is about the part 1 video, and we'll see in the part 2.